Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm American 3071, and today we're diving into part 4 of our alternate history series on Britain's colonization of a plague-weakened India. In this video, we'll explore the aftermath of the Second Anglo-Burmese conflict, the rising tensions between the British Raj and the Sikh Empire, and the early stages of the First Anglo-Afghan War. Let's get started. Last time we left off with the British capturing Amarapura in the final days of the Second Anglo-Burmese conflict. With King Pagan Min dethroned and exiled to a comfortable retirement in the Raj, London fully annexed the Kingdom of Burma, establishing it as a separate colony from the Raj. British officials were appointed to maintain control, and Governor-General Dalhousie stationed many Eastern Raj forces in Burma to secure the new colony. With the east stabilized, Dalhousie could now turn his attention westward to the emerging Sikh Empire on the Raj's northwest border. The Sikh Empire, founded in 1799 by Maharaja Ranjit Singh, after capturing Lahore, was a formidable power centered in the Punjab region. It spanned much of the northern Indus Valley, as well as Jammu and Kashmir. Under Ranjit Singh's leadership, the empire boasted a modern professional army, the Khalsa, largely due to his policies and reliance on European advisors. However, almost immediately after its formation, the empire faced the looming threat of the plague spreading across the subcontinent. Following the advice of his European advisors, Ranjit Singh implemented policies based on the latest medical knowledge of the time, as well as drawing inspiration from King Casimir III of Poland during Europe's Black Death. These measures, combined with Lahore's centralized governance and the empire's rural composition, limited the plague's impact to a mortality rate of about 20 to 25%. After the plague subsided, Ranjit Singh capitalized on his weakened neighbors, seizing parts of the Sindh region in the central Indus Valley and mountainous areas near Kashmir. By 1853, 1 year after the Second Anglo-Burmese conflict, the Sikh Empire was territorially stronger than ever before, with a population of around 18 million, roughly double that of Bengal. This alarmed Dalhousie, as the Sikh Empire's modernized Khalsa army and a growing influence posed a potential threat to the British control. You might think such a powerful empire could dictate terms to the Raj or even challenge its dominance. But here's the twist. Despite its military strength, the Sikh Empire was deeply divided. After Ranjit Singh's death in 1839, the empire descended into infighting. Over the next 14 years, assassinations and factionalism plagued the court of Lahore. By 1853, Ranjit's 15-year-old heir, Duleep Singh, was nominally in charge, but real power was fragmented among rival factions. These factions are the Khalsa army, technically led by Tej Singh, though they were suspicious of his Dogra allegiance; the regent Jind Kaur, Ranjit's widow and Duleep's mother; the Dogra faction of Rajput Hindu nobles, led by Gulab Singh; and then finally the Sandhwalia clan, Sikh aristocrats pushing for less foreign influence, led by Lena and Anjit Singh. These divisions gave Dalhousie a strategic advantage. With Burma secured, he shifted resources westward, increasing pressure on the Sikh Empire's factions. The swift conquest of Burma and the growing British presence in Bengal and Madras signaled to the Sikh leaders that confronting the Raj would be daunting, even with their modern army. A unified Lahore might have been able to stand up to the growing threat and even negotiate favorable terms, but rivalries and mistrust among the factions led each to devise separate plans to counter the British while undermining their rivals. This takes us to Jind Kaur, the one closest to the heir and presumably with the most legitimate power. Determined to keep her son on the throne and maintain her influence, she was the first to act. Jind had to balance appeasing the hardline Khalsa army factions while seeking diplomacy with the British in order to avoid military conflict. Meanwhile, Dalhousie was cautious about waging war against the Sikhs. Unlike the Burmese, the Sikhs had a powerful military capable of matching Raj forces. While the plague helped to strengthen the British position, with Bengal and Madras now home to millions of Anglo-Indian settlers who formed the backbone of the Raj's armies, a war with the Sikhs would be costly and could still risk native uprisings. Therefore, Dalhousie preferred a strategy of divide and conquer, aiming to weaken the Sikh Empire while keeping it intact as a buffer against northern threats, particularly the expanding Russian Empire. He first mobilized Raj forces along the frontier to demonstrate Raj strength, while at the same time offering diplomatic terms to Lahore. He suggested a withdrawal from the northern Sindh territory and stationing British troops in Kashmir in exchange for peace. He also secretly sent letters to Duleep Singh, Jind Kaur, Gulab Singh, and Tej Singh, offering generous land grants and power in exchange for cooperation in helping to weaken the army and more hardline factions within Lahore. Meanwhile, Khalsa forces began mobilizing for war. Pressure from the army forced Jind Kaur to help prepare for conflict with the Raj and openly reject Dalhousie's peace terms. Yet she quietly kept correspondence with the Governor-General, hoping to avoid conflict and risk making the army stronger domestically. Responding to the growing conflict, the governments of Bengal and Madras reacted differently. Madras, being geographically isolated from the conflict, sought neutrality and wished to avoid entanglement in the looming war. Bengal, being more affected by Sikh control of the Ganges River in the north, pressed for containment, but the population was weary of an outright war. Their reluctance was essentially the reason Dalhousie kept from outright invading Punjab. Yet war seemed inevitable as the Khalsa army was responding fiercely to Dalhousie's provocations. He had hoped for this move to simply cow the government into submission, but seeing his gamble backfire, he began sending word to commanders to prepare for conflict. All of this changed when Jind Kaur discovered correspondence between Gulab Singh and Dalhousie. The intercepted letters revealed that Gulab had made a deal with the British in where he would help sabotage the campaign in return for a princely state in Kashmir. Fearing the Khalsa army's reaction and the risk of a total war with the British, Jind Kaur kept the correspondence a secret. For now. Instead, she purged prominent Dogra officials from the army, helping to delay the potential conflict while continuing negotiations with Dalhousie to avoid war. Dalhousie, suspicious his deal with the Dogras had been compromised, adjusted his strategy. He was still unwilling to tolerate such a powerful neighbor, as were the Bengalis. Instead, he came up with a counter-offer. He sent an offer to the court of Lahore, one that should catch the eye of all factions. In exchange for giving up the whole of the Sindh region, allowing joint occupation of Kashmir, with Lahore keeping all the revenue generated there, and having a British presence in Lahore, the Raj forces would aid the empire in conquering Afghanistan up to Kabul. When these terms reached the court in Lahore in mid-spring 1854, the offer shocked every element of the government. This was uncharacteristic of what they thought they knew of Dalhousie and the British in general. Yet this was a pragmatic move Dalhousie was taking. You see, in order to understand what made Dalhousie decide to make such a drastic move, you have to see the situation he was dealing with. The Sikh Empire had emerged from the plague stronger, annexing lands previously out of reach. The British, bolstered by Anglo-Indian settlers, were also in a stronger position to hold their territories. A war between the two would simply devastate both sides, risking anarchy in the Sikh Empire and native uprisings in the Raj, alongside financial ruin from mobilizing settler farmers in Bengal and Madras. In July 1854, a compromise was reached. The British agreed to send 5,000 troops and materiel to support the Khalsa Army's 40,000 soldiers in annexing most of the Emirate of Afghanistan in exchange for the northern Sindh territory and joint occupation of Kashmir. This deal kept back Jind Kaur's rivals and satisfied the Khalsa army, as the prestige of capturing the capital of the once powerful Ghaznavid Empire was too great to ignore. Meanwhile, Jind Kaur further strengthened her position by eliminating some of her rivals. Using the intercepted letters as a pretext, Jind Kaur launched a brutal purge of the Dogra faction, killing Gulab Singh and forcing many to flee to the Raj, where Dalhousie kept them under close watch. Next time we'll dive into the First Anglo-Afghan War, where the British and Sikh empires invaded the land untouched by the plague. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more alternate history content coming soon. Thanks for watching.